welcome back to Shakhtar to Glory, episode 18. So this is the final episode of the first season. Got a bit of a double header for you today. As we mentioned at the end of the last episode, we'd be coming back for the Kiev game in the final league game, and also the cup final, the Kubok Ukraine final against Stal. So before we start, as always, if you enjoy my content, enjoying this series, enjoying these episodes, this Shakhtar save, let me know in the comments. Let me know with the like button. Just let me know that it is an enjoyable series. It is something that you want to carry on seeing as we try and build towards getting a Champions League winners medal. We got to the first knockout, the first season. I'd take that as a pretty good starting point for the first season. I'd say a Shakhtar team probably isn't expected to go much further than that. We had a bit of a lucky break with the group. Next season could be a tougher group. I'm not sure where we'll be in the seedings. I'm not sure how the league has progressed or dropped back, maybe with other teams progressing in the tournaments. But we'll see that as we go into the next season and into the next coming episodes. But what we'll do, we'll have a quick look at what we've done since that last game, which was also against Kiev. We won 4-1 in that game. I think we were already champions. I can't remember exactly, or if it's happened since. I'm pretty sure we were already champions, and we were playing these games, Stal, Alexandria and Zoya, already as champions. As you can see, we've won all three, clean sheets in all of them, which is something that had been a bit of a rarity in the last, the couple of games before that. We were letting in odd goals and having sort of defensive lapses, which seems to have been eradicated in those last three games. And we were playing full team, with the odd little change here and there, but primarily it was full teams. So Stal was a 2-0 win. Romero and Ferreira getting the goals in that game. Obviously we've got them in the cup final. If we can play like that, we weren't convincing. We weren't very good. There wasn't many highlights. There wasn't much happening. We got our 2 goals either side at half time, and they didn't really do much. We didn't let them do much. It was a standard victory really, and if we can do that in the cup final, I'll take a boring 2-0 any day of the week. Alexandria, similar story. We weren't great. They had a few more chances in this game. We did let them in a bit more, but they didn't really have the quality to trouble us. We got our goals. Ferreira and Romero again, the same 2 goal scorers there. I thought Freitas got the goal in this game, but it seems not. It must have been given to Ferreira. He got man of the match though, Freitas, our new signing, the centre midfielder. He's coming on nicely, and he could be a very important player next year. Obviously replacing Stepanenko, I remembered his name this time, in the midfield. Or certainly in these last few games, he put a few performances that make me think he is the man for the job. And then we finished before this episode with a nice 3-0 win against Zoya. Kvetsov, Vezu and Gohu with the goals. Gohu getting his off the bench, pretty much his first touch of the game. And again, we didn't get them have a shot on target. We didn't really let them do too much. In all 3 games, we didn't have the possession, but as we've seen all season, that's not what we're about. But as we go into the new season, I might have to have a little bit of a look at the tactic, maybe look at something we can do, because in those big games against teams like PSG, it's all well and good Zoya letting them having the ball, even Kiev letting them have the ball. The teams like PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid, them sort of teams, they're going to hurt us if we let them have too much of the ball. And they can keep hold of it a lot better as well and do more with it. So we might have to have a little bit of a look of a bit of a plan B maybe for the Champions League. But I'm going to have a look at that over the break. Obviously, I've been buying players based on this tactic, but it's only really recently I've been thinking maybe we do need something a bit different for those big European games that we can work on. But I'll be looking at that. I'll be working it a little bit in one of my offline saves just to have a little bit of a tinker and see what I can do. But without further ado, we'll jump into the Kiev game. So the team's all good to go. It's the usual suspects really. We've got Ferreira, Romero and Tyson up front. Fred and Freitas, who's become the regular now, so a good Brazilian middle there. We've got Cerna and Azevedo on the wing backs, and the usual back 4 as well. The bench pretty much as standard. There's a few on there maybe that would normally make it but aren't today, or haven't been recently, but it's pretty much the bog standard team that I've been going with for certainly the last 3 or 4 games. Kiev again, so the dilemma here is, do we worry about resting some players and we'll let the assistant do that one, resting the players and keeping them for the cup final? But we've got sort of 4 days. I can rest them up if we need to. I'm quite confident I could put a fairly backup-ish, or a few backup players into the cup final and still do a good enough job. So we'll go full team here just to keep the pride over Kiev and try and keep the winning run, or the mind game battle in our favour. The first highlight does go to them, and they do score it. It's Umbakani. I noticed before the game was starting, and he's not their top scorer, but he has got pedigree in Europe. I think he played for, was it Hull? Hull, I do vaguely remember Norwich as well. I don't remember much else before that, but he gives them the lead, and it's quite an even game. So for them to get the lead is a bit disappointing. But right before half time we have a chance, and Cerna whips a free kick over the bar, and he's a player that I'm not sure what to do with this season. I've been told to drop him from a first choice player to a backup. He's 36, 37 now, I think. So whether he's got another season in him at the top level, certainly in the Champions League games, he's up for discussion summer. But he's a very tricky one to get rid of if we do decide to go that route, because he's our leader, he's the captain, he's the most influential player in the team, and we need him in there. He's good for tutoring, but the money he's on just as a tutor, as a backup player, is too high. But I don't think anyone will come for a 36-year-old. Maybe load him out if we can get some of his wages paid. That might be a way of doing it. But we're not really getting into this game, and this is what I mean about having that plan, different sort of plan for the bigger games. We're going to bring Vizeo on because he has been on fire for us as well. Obviously, got a lot of yellow cards here. I'm going to bring Butko on for Cerna because he just does seem to fade out. Fred seems to get a bit tired as well. I'll bring Kovalenko on for him, and we'll see what we can do. If we can do anything with the last 15 minutes of the game and get a chance. Very even game, not much in it at all. And if we can win the ball here, which we don't, he's going to be off, isn't he? Second yellow card. So I'm guessing he does miss the cup final. With a few minutes to play, it's not even worth. I'm not going to bring a striker off to left back, so we've made obviously our 3 subs as well. They get the ball. Can we win it back here? It doesn't seem like it. We wind down to full time, and a disappointing result. Even with 10 men though, we've still kept the shots and all that, relatively even. But they're going for that right side, and I can't blame them. But can we have one last counter here? Doesn't look like it. I think that's it, and that would be it. It's a disappointing 1-0 win, which in the scheme of things doesn't matter too much. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. We've won the league, we've won it weeks ago, but their manager is so mouthy in the press before the games, and that will give him something. It'll probably keep him his job as well, but you know what, let him. So what we'll do, we'll jump the 4 days and we'll come back for the cup final. I'll see you shortly. So here we are, 4 days later. We're here for the cup final against Stal, which is at the NSC Olimpiski. I don't know whose ground that is, or it's just a national stadium, no idea. We do have a little bit of player dilemmas. They got 2 players missing through injury. I'm not sure if they're first choice players or not. Hasn't really played, and played a little bit, but not too much. We, however, do have 3 players missing. They are Cerna. He picked up too many yellow cards. That banned him from domestic competition. Azevedo obviously got sent off for 2 yellows in the last game. And we also have Fred for too many yellow cards. Now, I do personally feel it's a bit harsh. You miss a cup final because of a few yellow cards in the league. It's a little bit harsh. We're going to put Malashev on the bench for the spare goalkeeper. Take a risk with no goalkeeper. We've got, I think, one of our loanees there. I think it's Paz, maybe. Actually, I don't think we've got. I think it's the striker who we aren't on the bench. He's got a good goalkeeper rating if I need him, but hopefully that won't be the case. But we saw earlier in the season we had that a couple of times. They're playing an interesting formation. They've got 2 CDMs, left midfielder and right mid, and then an attacking midfielder and a striker. So let's see how they can. I don't know if that's what they played. I don't think that's what they played against us last time we played. So that'll be interesting to see how we cope with that. Now Tyson hasn't really. Obviously, we lost the last game to Kiev. It's really disappointing. We didn't do much at all. But Tyson hasn't really been doing much the last couple of games. He's had a bit of an injury as well, so he didn't play them all, but it could be the start of the new guard coming through. Vizeo we've got there, we've got Lukanov, we've got Gohu. One of those perhaps a bit more suited, but we'll, this cup final, I still think it's a game we can win. And Romero, 17 minutes in, gives us the lead. It's Ismaili, the backup left back. I didn't say who we brought in each position, so Ismaili come in for Azevedo at left wing back. We brought in Butko for the right wing back, Cerna, and we brought in Kovalenko in centre midfield for Fred. He has been screaming out that he wants some more football. I want to give him some more football if I can. But we've got Fred and the Freitas playing in the centre midfielder positions at the moment, and they're both more suited to it. But if we can keep him, give him some more game time. He did miss out on the World Cup for Ukraine unless they pick up an injury or something, so that he wasn't happy with that either. And that's a penalty. 32 minutes is a penalty. And Obradovic, can Piotov come big? He does, but they knock in the rebound. Oh, that's disappointing. You make the penalty save and then you let in the rebound anyway. It's their first shot on, well, I imagine it's two. No, it was a post. It wasn't a save. But, so it is only one shot on target. Disappointing. We need to spring back in here. We get out to Butko. Tyson hits the post as well, but we get the corner. Kovalenko with it. Ferreira plays it across. Comes to nothing. Corners don't often come to much, do they? Unless it goes in from the cross. Just before half time we have a corner and we put it away. Kvitsov again. Or is that an own goal? No, it's a missed interception, so it is Kvitsov. He got one in the games just before this episode. Rakitsky across to him, and I think it was the same two combining for that goal as well. I think it was a Rakitsky assist. So we play it out short just for the half-time highlight, and Tyson's through. 3-1. Now, I'd say, without being too silly, I'd say that's probably the game. But obviously, in recent games, we have been a bit sloppy at the back. So, it's not over. One quick early goal from them. We won't watch the highlight. It was a tap-in, really. Good finish, but a bit of a tap-in. Yeah, we've been a bit sloppy and giving away silly goals at silly times. So, I'm not going to count my chickens just yet. We need to go out second half and concentrate as well. But if we can get an early one to make it 4-1, that will be 100% the game, I imagine. And we play it through Ferreira. Kovalenko. Oh, he gives it away. And they counter quite nicely, but so do we. Straight back on the counter, and Ferreira with a wild shot. So a bit of a frantic few highlights in the start of the second half there. And it comes another one, 52 minutes, but it is theirs. If we can win it back and snatch it and get on the break, we do get a tackle in, but it's not enough. They still come, and tame cross really straight at Piotov. That's not going to cause him any trouble at all. A ball over the top, Tyson through to Romero, and that's 4-1. And I'll be honest, I think that's the cup. Ordets through to Freitas, and I think it's Freitas with a sweeping ball over the top here for Tyson. It is indeed. Puts a great ball in, he beats it, everyone ends up, and Romero's just there to do what Romero does. How many of his goals this season have come from that sort of position, just loitering in the middle of the box, waiting for that cross, waiting for that deflection, and he just buries them. So, 16 on the hour, they do have a chance. If they got back to 4-2 quite quickly, then it could be a bit twitchy, but they've only had the one shot on target. They're not really in this game. It was a penalty and a rebound, really, that sort of gave them their goal. They do have a corner, and what we were saying, we score a corner at one end, I think it was, yeah, pretty sure. We concede at the other end and beat them far too easy, and it's just a simple tap away really for their play. I'm not sure the names. And we're down to 10 men. That's 2 left backs in 2 games. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now this time we are going to take Ferreira off. He's not having the best game. We are going to put one on. There is sort of 25 minutes left of the game, so we've given away a goal and then we've gone down to 10 men, so we need to try and hang on here. But we are pretty good with 10 men in the league against these teams. They don't, even against 10 men, they don't have a great deal that can threaten us. So we've kind of just flown to the end of the game, and I haven't made any subs. It hasn't kind of gone to it. Don't really need to. Don't need to worry too much. And we have won the cup. I'm sure there should be a little parade there. Maybe I'm on the wrong camera for it to show it, but yeah, presentation, it's not showing it. I don't know if my computer can handle it or whether no, it's not showing it. I'm on the wrong camera angle, something like that. So we'll do with that. So we've got the cup. A couple of achievements there. Do the double cup glory. Yep, take all the achievements I can get. I've got quite a few on this game so far. There's a few more there to go. I haven't really got many long-term saves. A few of those are based around long-termness. So let's have a look at the news. Make sure there's nothing. 100k. Treble. I guess that was the Charity Shield thing at the start. We'll send the assistant for that. Any news? We've entered the Hall of Fame. One season is a bit silly to be entering the Hall of Fame, but I don't think there's much else there to worry about. I want to see if there's any transfer there to worry about. No transfer news that might give something away for the next season and next episode. So we'll leave that there. That's the end of the season. We've won the cup. We've won the league. I think we won the Charity Shield at the start of the season. Good start, but it's that Champions League one we need to go for. So we'll take the summer out. I'm going to review the squad, where I think players can be sold, where I think some players can be signed, look at who we are getting in, where they fit into that. But also we've got some good players in the under 21s, 23s, 21s, and even the 19s that have been out on loan and are coming back, and obviously they have a bit more homegrown status, which obviously we need to balance out a little bit. Not so much for the league, because you only need sort of 3 or 4 Ukrainian players, but the Champions League. We need to keep the balance there for that. So we'll have a look, see who's come back. I know there's a particularly good left back who's been on loan, and I couldn't recall him when I needed him, and he's one that I think, but we'll go through all that in the new season. So take some time out. We're going to get through the pre-season, get through the World Cup, and we'll come back fresh for the new season and have a good crack at the Champions League. So until episode 19 for that, I'll see you next time.